The Gaylor Nelson Wilderness is a wilderness area that includes 80% of the park. And it was established to basically create an extra layer of protection for the park. The islands are challenging for plants and animals to get to and move between. But once they're there, if the habitat is really conducive to them, the number of threats is lower. So the park acts as a refuge for many things.
The definition is, of course, from 1964, and it really defines wilderness as a place where a man is not remaining, but only a visitor, and that the evidence of man is not clearly seen. And I think that that is problematic if we stop to think about it, because the evidence of humans in wilderness is everywhere. And it is in every footstep and every lifeway of Indigenous people.
If you look at some of the early writings of our famous chiefs, Indigenous nations across North America, they all recognize the fact that the earth was our mother and that, we are now only a vein of the earth, of the plants and the animals.
All my relatives are all my relations. And it's not just us as humans, but it's that relationship that we have with our animal brothers and sisters. It's a relationship that we have with the land, with the water, that all of that coming together is something that we've been able to somehow maintain, even though we've lost a lot of things. My Indian or spirit name is Gayash Garcil. Sometimes I'll sit back by a beach and I'll just watch them and realize they have their own culture. They have their own way of doing things. So in our teachings, that connection that we have with those elements that are around us, with our animal brothers and sisters, being able to watch and observe them and the way that they live, they can also help teach us the way that we should live. They've existed maybe for millions and millions of years, and yet with all of this crazy stuff that we have in our world right now, they've been able to survive. And it might be just something simple and basic of watching the birds out there, picking at the ground for something, looking at the ground and watching the ants. It's just amazing, and we can learn so much from that.
I think the key to humility is listening and believing that those you are encountering have something very important to share with you. So whether it's a child or an elder or a visitor or a community member or even just the natural environment, to take time to listen and understand that you have the opportunity to learn that day.
So as the islands is wilderness, I would call them more of a preserve. We do have activities that occurred on those islands, from homesteads to farming to logging, and we have our traditional use amongst the islands themselves. But they are preserved. We are trying to preserve the natural beauty that's there, but yet leave the openness of our traditional usage still amongst the islands and be available. Everything has its niche. Everything has its way of living and why it's here. We have to respect that, and we have to acknowledge that fact.
One thing for us not to forget is that wilderness spaces, in fact, did have humans inhabiting them for thousands of years. And so to erase that is really damaging history, damaging science, damaging understanding of these places and how to keep them healthy. So inhabited spaces are, in fact, a very clear fact about wilderness and a good thing for us to remember. The park has been designated by Congress to care for and steward the park. Part of the role of the employees in the park is to, again, learn from the community, learn from the Anishinaabe people. We are in ceded territory and treaty territory, and our responsibility is to listen and be the caretakers with the wisdom that we gain from others.
I just can't express enough the value what our traditional way gives us and provides us, especially during this day and age. So the Anishinaabe was given the knowledge to know that all creation has spirit. In our teachings, we say we are not above creation, but we are a part of creation, and that what we do to them, we do to ourselves.